Guys, welcome back to my channel. Flawlessfacejay here. Today's video is going to be a start to finish, beginner friendly how I make closure wigs. This is a 5x5 inch closure wig, HD closure wig. The hair is from Kendra's Boutique. And I just want to say, y'all, I'm in love with this hair. I'm in love with this wig. I just want to share with y'all how I, as a beginner, make my closure wigs, to show y'all that it is possible as a beginner to get a flat and laid wig as a beginner. Like, I'm stressing as a beginner because when I say y'all I am a beginner, I watch so many videos on how to make wigs. They don't make no sense. Like, and I just want to share that with y'all because I feel like if I can do it, anybody can do it. It just takes practice and dedication. So if y'all want to see how I made this wig from start to finish and also how I installed it, make sure you stay tuned. But before you do, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye. Okay, so I just mixed the bleach and developer to dye the knots on my closure. So this is how you want the consistency to be. Thick. You don't want it to fall. It should not fall off of the brush. So, and you want it to be like this because you do not want it to seep through the knots on your closure. It's supposed to sit on top just to bleach the black knots. So if y'all can see, let me see. Y'all can see these knots, they're black. So you don't want the bleach to seep through the lace. You just want it to sit right on top to bleach it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on, and I'm gonna smooth it on with a butter knife. I'm not gonna use this little brush that I used to mix it with. I'm gonna smooth it on with a butter knife just so it sits on top and it doesn't get smushed or pushed through. And I'll show you guys how I do that too. Don't mind her. Okay. So like I said, you make sure that the powder is super thick. You don't want it to flop down, and that's fine because it's thick enough. So this is the consistency you want it to be. You want it to be like toothpaste, really thick, super thick. So I'm going to take this little plastic butter knife, and I moved all the hairs out the way because I only want to get the bleach on the closure, and that's it. So I moved all the hair out the way, and I'm just gonna start smoothing it on like so. And I'm just smoothing it on. I'm literally just smoothing it on. I'm not pressing it into the lace or anything like that, because if you press it into the lace, it's going to seep through. So I'm literally just being really soft-handed and putting it on. Okay, so now you flip it over carefully because you don't want that bleach to get on your hair, okay? And I actually did kind of push the bleach in a little. So, are you ready to sit? I'm gonna let that sit for 30 minutes. Okay, y'all. So now, honestly, I forgot, but to come and show y'all how it looks after. But I washed the bleach out with the neutralizing shampoo first, and then I used the Shimmer Lights shampoo just to tone down because it was really orangish. So I just let that sit. So I just let that sit for about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna rinse this off now. This is what you want your knots to look like. But before I put the Shimmer Lights, it was like orange like that. Okay, well maybe not that orange, but it was like really orange. So I just put that on to get the brassiness out. So I'm gonna rinse this out now, and then I'm gonna go pluck, and I will show you guys that process too, of course, because this is a how to make a wig for beginners by a beginner. Okay, so I'm gonna rinse this out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what the closure is looking like now. I'll let you guys see, like, you can barely see any knots. And this is an HD lace closure 5x5, so that's what it's looking like. It really didn't, I think like the bleach only got like a little bit on the hairs here, but I'm about to pluck, so that really doesn't even matter. But it didn't like bleach the roots or anything, literally just the knots. So that's how you want your closures to look. And y'all, I ain't gonna lie, this is my first time getting this right. So like I said, because this is a tutorial for beginners by a beginner, we all had learned it together. So this is what it looks like, bro. Don't mind my wig here. This is a styrofoam one because it's the only one that I have. Okay, so to start off with my plucking, I make sure I pull all the hair back out of the way, and I part a section off from the front because I do not start plucking from the front of the hairline. I start behind it, and then I take the flat end of the tweezers and pull away from the face. I pull in the direction that the hair is going, and I do not stay in one section. I rotate or change my sections every time I pluck because I do not want to stay in one spot. That will make you get bald spots, and you do not want those. So I'm taking my time and going through, and while you're plucking, you want to always make sure that you comb the hair out, just to make sure you're keeping track of how much hair that you're taking away from the hairline, because you don't want to take too much. So I'm going to go ahead and part out another section that's directly behind the section I just plucked, and I'm going to do the exact same thing again, alternating where I pull out the hair so I don't get any bald spots. So I went ahead and did the same thing for the other side. So now to start at the beginning, I'm going to pull all the hair back and pluck from the top of the hairline. And I'm doing the exact same thing, being careful, making sure that I'm not plucking too much, and alternating the positions from which I do pull the hair from, so I'm sure to not get any bald spots.
Okay, so here you see me parting out where my baby hairs are going to be, and I'm going to pluck right behind that, right behind the baby hairs, to make sure that the hairline is looking how I want it to. I did make sure that I didn't over pluck or even pluck too much, just because, like I said, I am a beginner and I'd rather have more hair than less hair and haven't made a mistake. So this is good for me.
Okay, so I wanted to show y'all how I put the wig cap on my mannequin and what type of wig cap I use. So this is from the Magic collection. It's a mesh dome cap. It's breathable. So yeah. So let me show y'all how I pinned it down. Don't mind my dog here. I told y'all that my mannequin here. So I put this down, but I'm gonna move this because I don't really need that right there. And in the back, I pulled it down on the sides just to stretch the cap out. So yeah, that's how I put it on. And
So when you're placing your closure on your wig cap, you want to pull the hairline a few centimeters above the wig cap and pin it down. So when you're pinning your closure down at the back, you want to make sure that you're pulling it as tight as possible to make sure that it's flat, like there's no bumps or bridges or anything of that sort. You want to make sure that it's like this on all sides. So you take a pin and you pull it and you stick the pin in there to make sure that it's all flat. And this is what's going to ensure that your closure, that your wig is as flat as it can be.
this is how you want it to look. It's all flat everywhere.
So showing you guys how I sew. I undersew, so I take the needle and I go through the mesh. You do not want to go through the elastic band, because if you do, your wig will be too tight and it won't fit. So you go through the mesh, and then you go through the closure and you pull the needle all the way through. Now, I do a technique that's called fencing. I take the thread and I pull it to the other side, and then I put the needle under again, and then I pull the needle and the thread through that hole that's between where the old thread was and where the new thread is. Sorry if I'm not able to explain it correctly. That's the only way that makes sense to me, but I will show you guys a more in-depth. So showing you guys again how I do the fence. I pull the thread across and I take the needle and go through the mesh and through the closure. I pull the needle up and then I pull it down all the way through the loop. Now, hopefully, you guys can understand what I'm saying. If not, hopefully you'll catch the drift from watching me do the rest of this side of the closure.
So as y'all can see, it's all flat all around, and that is like literally no bubbles nowhere. That's how you want your closure to lay. Cool.
So starting my weft, I'm going to take one weft and go all the way around the perimeter, and I'm just pinning down where I want to start the weft, and I'm showing you guys everywhere that it's pinned down just to make sure it doesn't move. And then I do the exact same thing. I put the needle through the weft just to start it out, and then I'll go under the weft for the rest. But I put it through, and again, you're going to put it through the mesh and not the elastic band. You never sew through the elastic band. And I'm just going to do that all throughout the perimeter of the hair.
Dream on.
So when I get to the top of the weft on the other side, I do put the needle through the weft just because I'm going to make a knot and cut it. So that's going to secure it for me. And then I'm just going to do the exact same thing. Make sure I make my fence and put the needle through the weft and through the mesh. Again, not the elastic band. And then I'm going to cut it off. So for the sake of the video, I'm not going to show you guys me sewing the whole wig down. I did show you how to sew the perimeter, and that's how I do the whole wig. However, I did want to show you guys where I marked the wig up at and where I plan to place the tracks. I did double the tracks at the bottom and single them at the top. So when I get to the top, I'll show you guys how I connect the last weft to the closure. So I've made it to the top of the wig, and this is a single weft. I just want to show you guys how much space I had left, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start sewing. I did want to let you guys know that I do not sew my weft to the closure, but I do go through the thread of the closure while I sew the closure down, and this just makes the closure lay flatter to me than going through it. So I just wanted to show you guys that I'm not sewing through the closure, I'm sewing through the thread of the closure, if that makes sense. And I'm going to do that all the way around. So now that the wig is in, I'm just showing you guys how I'm cutting off the cap underneath the closure. And you don't want to cut too close to where you thread it. You want to leave a little space so if it was to unravel, your whole closure won't come loose. So that's just what I'm doing. I'm just cutting off the excess cap. So to install this wig, I'm just going to be using my Gotta Be spray. I'm not doing anything fancy. I like to take my wigs off at night, so I'm going to be using this. And of course, I just spray it on in a thin layer, and I'm only going to use one layer just because I'm doing this for the video's sake. And I'm going to let that dry down until it gets sticky to the touch, and then I'll pull the lace down. y'all, so I did my baby hairs off camera because I was having a little difficulty with them. Me and baby hairs, we don't get along at the moment, so it took me a little time. So I'm just going in and doing these. Of course, how you do your baby hair is at discretion to you, if you do them or not. I'm just showing y'all how mine looked. So now I'm going to go in with my slick stick, and I'm just going to press out the top of the closure to make sure that it's as flat as possible. And I already flat ironed this hair, so I'm just showing y'all how I press it out to make sure that it's super flat. And just to finish off this install, I'm going to take some concealer and put it right down the part and a little on the edges of the closure. Okay, y'all, so this is the complete everything, okay? Installed wig, flat, like, don't play, okay? Don't play. So yeah, I showed y'all everything start to finish. I hope that this video was informative for y'all. I hope that I touched base on everything. I hope that it helps you if you decide to make a wig to this video, that you're able to with no problem. And yeah, that's it. Like, thank y'all for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell to be notified when I make new videos. And I hope to see you next time.